from Bowling Green State University, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to welcome you to the opening event of BGSU's celebration of the Women's Equity Action League and its founder, 1937 Bowling Green alumna, Elizabeth Betty Boyer.
Well, when Title IX passed, I naively thought that in 1 year everything would be solved and finished and I could go on to something else. As time went by, I kept upping my estimates, but now I know it's going to take generations for us to achieve everything that we need to do. It's going to be a long time. We expected that the awareness of sex discrimination would increase, and indeed it did, but there's still more to be done.
So the Dear Colleague letter emphasizes gender discrimination. Gender discrimination has always been an issue, but there has been an emphasis put on the type of gender discrimination that Dr. Sandler mentioned, whether that's in the classroom and how it plays out in the educational context. We know that we can see that in athletics potentially, and we lose sight to think that that's the only area of gender discrimination we should be concerned about. Sexual harassment falls under that.
When I first heard of Title IX, I was a kid. I have a sister who's 5 years older than me, and my dad was one of the first people in our community to create a girls' softball team. Little did I know I'd be sitting in a board meeting and hearing from a parent much like my dad about how we needed to change what we do.
So of course, as I said, I love to compete, and what I wanted to do was play on a high school tennis team. But there was no high school tennis team, no girls' high school tennis team at my school, although I went to one of the largest high schools in the state. There was no girls' tennis team, but there was a boys' tennis team. So I march into the principal's office and I say, I'd like to compete on the boys' team because it would be really good for me to be able to practice against other boys in the city. What the principal told me was, no, you may not be on the boys' team because you would have to suit up in the locker room, and that is not permissible. So I was never allowed to play on a high school tennis team.
But like I said, my coaches always expected nothing but the best, and because of that I was able to graduate early from BGSU with my undergraduate degree and get about halfway done with my master's and be on a full scholarship the entire time. So can't say thank you enough to the men and women who fought for me to have that opportunity.
Another thing that I think is a huge difference now for women is the support staff that we have. I mean, there was always support staff at a university, but I think predominantly it was for the men's sports. I know when I was at Toledo, we really didn't lift at all. I don't think it was available to us. That was in the 80s. And then when I first came here, we could maybe kind of show up in the lifting room, but the football lifting coach would pretty much frown upon it, and if the girls even talked to anybody else, then we were in big time trouble, and he would tell me all about it. So I think the support staff, people that help us stage the games, the lifting coaches, the medical staff, sports information, that's huge.
I relish the opportunity to talk about it because there is a lot of confusion about that particular designation. It is something that the NCA came up with. It is a very positive thing where they mandated that a female be at the decision-making table, and so the concept of a senior woman administrator should be given to the highest-ranking female administrator in the athletic department. The key to understanding it is it's a designation as opposed to a role. And so
there's just real subtle things, and Bernice was getting at this earlier, as to how girls are treated in school. Something as simple as asking a question and the boy answers the wrong answer. Well, think about that. Now, how might you rework that? The girl gets the wrong answer. Oh, I'm sorry, someone else? So, I mean, most people don't realize they do that, but there's this bias that in English we'll give women this, the opportunity, and in sciences we give men the opportunity. So again, it goes back to educating and giving feedback to teachers so that they know they're not unintentionally doing that is one step. It's a huge issue.
Title IX changed the face of America by prohibiting most forms of discrimination against students and employees in educational institutions at all levels
women. It has been called the most important legislation for women and girls that's ever been passed since women got the right to vote back in 1920.